Alright, before you get too far into your day, I want you to go outside and do something. Walk your driveway, walk the patio, walk the front walkway, and just look down. You're looking for outlines, chalky rings on the surface, thin lines of silt and grit that stopped right where the water stopped, little dried tide marks. Most people walk straight over them and never think about it twice. That's a map, a free one, and it's showing you exactly where every low spot and every drainage fault on your property is. Here's why that matters right now. Storms on Tuesday, August 11th, dropped 2.07 inches of rain on Dayton. That broke a daily record of 1.86 inches, and that record had been standing since 1915, 111 years. The National Weather Service office out of Wilmington called it, and the flooding that followed showed up all over the Miami Valley, water sitting over roadways, the low spots doing what low spots do. I'm not telling you that so you can be impressed by the number. I'm telling you because a storm that size is a stress test. Slabs that drain the way they're supposed to just shrug it off. Slabs that don't, they show you in detail exactly where they're failing, and you've got maybe a week or two before all that evidence washes off, fades out, and disappears. So let's talk about what you're actually looking at. First thing to get straight, standing water isn't a rain problem, it's a slope problem. Concrete doesn't soak anything up, it's not a sponge. It either sheds the water or it holds it, and which one it does was decided the day it got poured. Flatwork normally goes in with somewhere around 1/8 to 1/4 inch of fall per foot, pitched away from the house. That's it, that's the whole trick, and that's enough to move even a heavy rain off the surface within a few minutes of the sky clearing. So if you were out there hours after that rain stopped and there was still water sitting on your driveway slab, that pour is flat or it's settled or it's pitched the wrong way entirely. And I'll be blunt with you, none of those three fix themselves. Concrete doesn't heal, it just keeps doing what it's doing until somebody changes it. Now 4 specific things that storm would have exposed. Walk with me on these. Number 1, and this is the big one, water tracking toward the house. Go look at where your patio or your walkway meets the siding. Look for that silt line. If the debris piled up against the wall instead of collecting out at the outer edge where you'd want it, that slab is feeding your foundation every single time it rains. Every time. That's the most expensive problem on this whole list, and it's also the easiest one to ignore because nothing dramatic happens on day 1. It's a slow bill. Number 2, undermining at the edges. Fast-moving water is a shovel. It pulls the gravel base right out from under the edge of a slab. You'll see soil washed out along the driveway apron, or a little gap opening up underneath a walkway where there wasn't one before. And here's the part that fools people: the concrete looks fine. It's not cracked, it's not stained, but the support underneath it is gone, and once a car parks on it a few hundred more times, that slab cracks, usually within a season or 2. Number 3, cracks that opened up. You've probably got hairline cracks, most slabs do. The problem is that a hairline crack is a doorway. Water gets down into the base, the subgrade saturates, the slab starts to move, and the crack widens. So here's a useful trick: compare it to a photo from spring. If you don't have one, take one today. Any change you can actually measure means the base under there is holding moisture, and that's a different conversation than a cosmetic crack. Number 4, sunken sections and trip edges. Public walkways, private walkways, same story. When the soil underneath washes out, the panel drops. A section that fell half an inch after this storm is now 2 problems at once. It's a puddle, and it's something somebody catches a toe on. Our walkway crews see this constantly out in Kettering and Centerville, where you've got mature trees and older clay soil working against each other year after year. Alright, before you call anybody, including us, do one more thing. Check your downspouts. I mean it, most of the concrete damage we see around Dayton neighborhoods doesn't come from the storm itself. It comes from a downspout dumping concentrated roof water onto one spot, one slab edge, one joint, thousands of gallons at a time, over and over. Your roof is a funnel, and that funnel has an exit point, and that exit point is usually the thing killing your concrete. So walk to each downspout and figure out where the water actually went, not where you think it went, where the silt says it went. Extensions should be carrying that discharge at least 4 feet past any slab edge, onto ground that slopes away from the house. And if you've got a retaining wall sitting below one of those discharge points, go look at that too. Saturated backfill is the number 1 reason retaining walls start to bulge and lean, and a record rainfall is exactly the kind of load that gets that started. Now the money question: does this mean new concrete? Often no, and honestly, judging that correctly is most of what keeps a bill reasonable. Cracks under about a 1/4 inch on a slab that still drains properly, those are candidates for sealing and patching. That's a real fix, not a band-aid, and it can buy you years when the base underneath is stable. But a slab pitched toward your house is a completely different animal. You can't reslope concrete that's already cured. That's just physics. So the panel comes out and it goes back in with proper fall. Same logic for a patio that's been holding water up against a door threshold. Grinding the surface doesn't change the pitch, and pouring a topping layer over it usually makes the drainage worse, not better, because now you've raised the low spot and trapped water underneath. So here's what I'd do in the next 2 weeks. Photograph everything while the evidence is still there. Every stain ring, every silt line, every crack. Measure any slab that dropped at a joint and write down the height difference. Run a hose at each downspout and just watch where the water travels. Takes 10 minutes and tells you more than any inspection. Clear the silt out of your control joints so they can still move the way they were designed to. And hold off on sealing anything until the slab and the base underneath have fully dried out, because sealing wet concrete just locks the water in. And there's a clock on this. Ohio gives you a narrow window. Between now and the first hard freeze, any water sitting in a crack or trapped under a slab has one more job to do, and that job is freeze-thaw. It expands, it lifts, it widens every single fault that Storm just marked out for you. A crack you could have sealed in September becomes a replacement in March. That's not a scare tactic, that's just how the season runs here. So if you found something out there, a puddle that wouldn't leave, a washed-out edge, water pooling against the house, get eyes on it before the next big one rolls through. We're Concrete Contractors, Dayton, Ohio. We work across Dayton, Kettering, Beavercreek, Huber Heights, Centerville, and the rest of the Miami Valley, and post-storm drainage calls are honestly the bulk of what we're handling in late August. Send us those photos you took, or just give us a ring and describe what you found. The number's 937-939-2611. That's 937-939-2611. Go take a look. The concrete already told you what's wrong, you just have to read it.